My name is Allison, and this is my November wrap up. We're going to go through everything that I read in the month of November, and we are using the microphone because I'm having a bit of a weird head day, and talking loudly doesn't work for me when I'm having a bit of a weird head day. So we're going to stick with the microphone, and hopefully it's good enough, and hopefully I don't move it around too much and make a lot of weird microphone noises with it. But anyway, we're gonna go through all the books I read in November. Let's get to it. Okay, so we have 8 books to talk about that I did or did not read and complete in November. We're just gonna go through in the order in which I read them. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna start with a book that I started in October and finished in November, and that was Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I liked this. I gave it 4 stars. It was good, but I just wanted it to be a little spookier, scarier. There were a few nice, creepy moments, but on a whole, I don't think it really qualifies as like a horror book since it wasn't really that scary. Like, the scary stuff didn't have anything to do with like what was happening to the characters. It was just like, yeah, it was, I don't know. It could have been scarier. I did really enjoy it though. Sylvia Moreno Garcia does really good with writing characters that aren't necessarily like the greatest people, but you still kind of root for them. Like, they're kind of underdogs and they're kind of assholes, but like at the same time, you like them and and you like to read about them. I don't know. At least I always do. But anyway, yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I just wanted it to be a little scarier. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Okay, and so the next book on the list that I read in November, I no longer own because I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, and I thought I might as well just pass it on to someone who will enjoy it more, and that was A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I have really enjoyed other books that I've read by Ava Reed, and so I was really looking forward to this one, even though it is YA, and I was a little hesitant going into it because it was YA. And honestly, the reason I didn't like it as much is because it was YA, and the YA factor of it just made it a little unbelievable to me. I gave it 3 stars. That's 3 stars. I didn't hate it, but I just didn't love it. The fact that the characters were young, I think like 19, and like the whole premise of like the competition just seemed silly to me. Like, why they it would I don't know how to, my like I mentioned, I'm having a weird brain day, but anyway, I feel like it would have been more interesting if the characters were a little bit older. It would have been a little more believable. The situation that they find themselves in would have been a little more believable. Also, it's not rivals to lovers, which is weird. Like, I wouldn't consider it rivals to lovers because they're not rivals. Like, yeah, they go to the same school, and like there's a moment in the book where they both want to check out the same library books, but like, I don't think that qualifies them as rivals. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't my favorite. There were a lot of, like, in all Ava Reed books, at least all the ones I've read. I mean, I think I've read everything she's written. Now that I think about it, anyway. But there's usually very dark themes, and those are very present in this book. And like, I feel like they weren't really handled very well in this book. And it wasn't my favorite. Um, yeah, Um, there was other things. Oh, there was like a story within the story that the characters are uncovering as the book goes on, and I was way more interested in that story than I was like the actual story that was happening. Like I kind of wished I was reading the story that they were uncovering instead of them, because it was far more interesting to me. And even though it was obvious where it was going, it wasn't like annoying that I already knew like where the story was going. But yeah, anyway, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Like I said, I no longer own it. It's gone off to someone who I hope will enjoy it more than I did. But yeah, my weird head doesn't want to talk about this book anymore, so we're gonna stop talking about it. I gave it 3 stars. I think I already said that, but anyway, yeah, we're gonna stop my ramblings and talk about something else. Yeah, we're gonna talk instead about a book that I reread in November, like I do every single year, or try to at least, and that is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Steve Otter. Steve, what was I gonna say? Stevie Mag Otter? Have I mentioned that I'm having a weird brain day? Anyway, yeah, I still want to say Stevie. Scorpio Races by Maggie Steve Otter. Okay, yeah, I still absolutely love this book. I listened to the audiobook this time. I go back and forth on which one I consume every year. This time I was listening to the audiobook, and it's just a great experience, even though I don't like some of the voices that the narrator for Puck does. Like the one that she gives Finn just doesn't fit him. But aside from that, I mean, I was still bawling my eyes out through most of this book. I think I cried more reading it this time than I have in the past, and I don't know why, but it really got to me this time. I was building houses in The Sims, and I was just like building and sobbing at the same time. And yeah, anyway, yeah, Scorpio Races, as always, 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. This will always be a favorite in my mind. Every time I reread it, whether I'm reading it physically or listening to it, it always just feels like a warm hug. It feels like coming home. It just, I don't know. It's not a perfect book. There are some flaws in it. I know that, but it's so cozy to me, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, 5 stars as always a favorite. We're gonna talk about something else now. Okay, moving on. So this next book was a book that was sitting on my TBR for a long time. I don't know how long I've owned it. A couple years, a year or two maybe. And I just decided to pick it up on a whim and give it a chance. But anyway, it's a story about teenagers, and you know me and YA, I don't mesh with teenagers. Me and teenagers, we don't vibe. I'm too old and cranky. Anyway, it was Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson. Look at me, I read that backwards in my phone screen. I'm really killing it today. Yeah, and I did say it correctly, I believe. Anyway, this is, I wouldn't even know how to describe this. It's very slice of life with just a tiny bit of like magic woven in, and it's very interesting. Like I said, it's out of my comfort zone, 100% out of my comfort zone. Um, but it's very easy to read. It was very readable. I can't say that I enjoyed any of the characters in it because they were just annoying teenagers, but I was really interested to see where it was gonna go, and unfortunately, in the first book, it didn't really go very far. Some weird, just a bunch of weird stuff happening, just weird stuff. It was interesting. I was fascinated at times, but for the most part, it was just okay. I mean, I ended up giving it 4 stars, which means I didn't really hate it. I mean, I think I laughed out loud a couple times. I just don't mesh with teenagers, man. Me and teenagers, we don't vibe. But yeah, it was good. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Like there was nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't exactly my cup of tea. But yeah, I still gave it 4 stars. Like I might pick up the next one. I am, with the way this one ended, I am interested to see what else happens, what else goes down. But yeah, anyway, that's that. Okay, what did I read next? I gotta really work myself up to talk about this next book. This is such a weird vibe video. In hindsight, I probably should have waited and filmed this tomorrow. But, oh well. We're doing it now. Okay, do I have the energy? Do I have the energy to talk about this? Okay, let's go. You can do it, Allison. You can do it. Okay. Okay. It's mostly, do I have the energy to hold this book up? Okay, the next book I read and gave 4 stars was The Hurricane Wars by, okay, this is gonna be bad, Thea Guanzon? Is that correct? I'm sorry if it's not, but I really tried. Yeah. Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. I liked this. I gave it 4 stars. I had to like really separate myself from the very obvious fact that it is basically Star Wars fan fiction. And I'm not a big Star Wars girly. But yeah, I had a really fun time. I thought this was really fun. My one thing I didn't really enjoy though is the fact that this book is considered adult and our female main character is only 19 years old. Not my favorite thing. I don't understand why she was only 19. She could have been older. They could have made her older. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. You give me an adult novel and I open the pages and the main character's like, I'm only 19 years old. And I'm like, you're not an adult. I mean, legally, sure, but mentally, no. Yeah, that's my biggest thing. And like, there is an age gap. Like, he's 26, 25, 26, I think, and she's 19. I mean, maybe she's 20 by the end of the book. I mean, some months do go by. Maybe she had a birthday in there. But, like, especially since he keeps, like, calling her, like, a child and stuff, and that's icky. But yeah, I had a good time still. I'm really interested to see where this is gonna go. Um, yeah, I like that it didn't end in like a big cliffhanger. Like it was a little cliffhangery, but it wasn't like, oh my god, like it's okay that I have to wait a little while to read the sequel. Like I don't mind. I'm not furious. I am mad about how the slow burn is still a burnin'. I don't consider the slow burn over. If you know what I mean, if you've read this book in Jesus. Anyway, yeah, I don't like that she was 19. That's weird and creepy to me, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time. And we're gonna move on. Okay, we're gonna move on to another book where it's technically adult and the main character is technically 19, but it was done in a way that wasn't so creepy, and I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely really freaking loved it. It was The Hanging City by Charlie N. Holmberg. Holmberg, yeah. I really loved this. Funny story. You might know from if you've watched past videos from me. I don't like to read the blurbs on the back of the book. I don't like to read book synopsis. I like to go into books not knowing very much. much. Yeah, I didn't know this was a troll romance. It literally says it on the back of the book that it's a troll romance. I honestly didn't even know this was romance until I saw it in the romantasy category on the Goodreads Choice Awards this year. And I was like, oh, that's romance? I'll read that. And I already had it, I already owned it, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll pick that up. Yeah, I loved this. I did not expect it to be a troll romance, but that's on me because it says it right on the back of the book. Anyway, I really loved Lark. I really actually loved all the characters in this. They were really great. Yeah, it was just a good time. I thought it was gonna really rip my heart out and stomp on it, but it didn't. It was it was okay. Anyway, yeah, this was good. Have I mentioned what any of these books are about yet? I don't know, but have I mentioned it's a weird brain day, so I'm not even gonna try to explain the plots of these books. But anyway, absolutely loved this. Yeah, absolutely love this. I'm really itching to read more from this author. I love that it was a standalone, but also I want more. I wouldn't mind if there was a sequel to this. But yeah, we're gonna move on to a different book. Okay, the next book I read was a doozy. Okay, another 5-star read from me. And that was The Unmaking of Jane Farrow by Adrienne Young. Last month I read Spells for Forgetting by the same author, and I really enjoyed it, but I solved the mystery way before the characters did, and it was really frustrating that they weren't getting it. But anyway, this, I had no idea what was going on most of the time. But I had a good time for the most part. I mean, I was kind of in emotional distress the whole time. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I have no idea if the explanation of what's happening in this book even is logical or makes any sense. I don't care. I had a good time. I didn't understand 1 minute of it, but I had a good time. Yeah, I do wish it was longer. Like, there's a little, there's a relationship in this that I wish we just got more of. It's kind of, everything kind of gets wrapped up and patched up at the end with like little snippy um little like paragraphs of like, we did this, we did this, and we did this, and we did this, and this, and like, this is what happened, and that was what happened, and this is how this was, blah blah blah. And like, it was nice, but I honestly would have liked 100 or so more pages of this. Both to expand the beginning of the book, because I don't feel like we sat long enough with the characters in the beginning of the book to care about the outcome for them. Um, like they're mentioned throughout the rest of the book, and it's like, I don't care about that person because I care about this now, and we got like 5 pages with that person maybe, and I want to deal with just this person now. Like, I don't care about that other person. So yeah, I wish there was just a little bit more to the beginning and a little bit more to the end. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. Destroyed me emotionally. I was reading this at the same time, not while I was watching, but like while I was reading this, I was also watching. Like, I wasn't watching when I was reading, like at, like at the same time. You know what I mean? I was reading this and then I put it down, and then when I was watching TV, I was watching Blue Eye Samurai for the same time for the first time, and yeah, to consume 2 things that were like absolutely destroying me mentally was probably not a great idea, but I did it anyway. If you want my review of Blue Eye Samurai, I absolutely loved it. I'm on my 4th rewatch now. Anyway, I love this. 5 stars. We're gonna move on. Okay, this last book is a book I DNF'd, and I'm pretty bummed about it. And that is The Queen of Days by Greta Kelly. I hadn't read anything from this author before, but I saw there was a giveaway for it on Goodreads, and I kind of skimmed, what it was about, and I thought it sounded pretty interesting. So I entered the giveaway, and surprise, surprise, I won the giveaway. I haven't won a Goodreads giveaway in years, so this was pretty cool, and it was a finished copy, so I was like, wow, I feel so special. Yeah, I DNF'd this at about 130 pages. I tried so hard to get into it, but I really just couldn't. I hated the main character. I thought he was really annoying. You don't really get to know any of the characters. You're kind of like just thrusted right into the action. It's kind of like a heist book, and it's been a while since I read a book about a heist. But you're kind of like just thrown right into the action right from the get-go, and you don't get a chance to like know the characters, but like they expect you to just know the characters, if that makes any sense. Like there were like times where I was supposed to care about what was happening to people, and I just didn't, because when you're thrown right into the mix, you don't have time to get to know characters and care about them, and so I just didn't care. And I got 130 pages in, and I just couldn't care less. So I stopped reading it, and I feel bad because I won a free copy. So I should also say I also won a free copy of this on Goodreads. Also, hardcover finished copy. I was pretty stoked about that, and I was even happier that I absolutely fucking loved it. Anyway, yeah, I DNF'd this. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, that's everything I read in the month of November. 8 books that I mentioned, 7 books that I actually completed. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that this video was kind of a mess, but when are my videos not a complete mess? Yeah, I'll leave a comment. What was your favorite book that you read in November? Anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye. I'm gonna go take a nap.